Marketing research involves collecting and interpreting information to help companies understand how consumers feel about their products. Traditionally, researchers collect data by going directly to consumers, using focus groups, surveys, and interviews to obtain responses. The problem with collecting data this way is that people are notoriously poor sources of information because human memory is unreliable. Do you remember how many times you ate fast food in the past 3 months? What you ordered? How you felt about it? Surely there's a better way to collect data. Enter neuromarketing. Neuromarketing, sometimes called consumer neuroscience, applies advanced measurement technologies to measure a person's neurological, biometric, and behavioral responses to marketing stimuli, such as an advertisement, a product concept, packaging, or changes in pricing. For example, market researchers can track eye motion to see what elements of a web page capture a subject's attention. They can then analyze facial expressions to measure their emotional response. In this way, they get a more complete picture of how a customer is responding to the site than they would by simply asking questions.
Most scientists, they say that 70 to 90% of your decisions are actually based on the instant emotion and not on the feelings or the rational thoughts. So basically, all the research that's being done is only answering 10 to 30% of what is really true. So obviously that's why neuromarketing can add a lot of value by going in and looking at these instant reactions that you can't measure in any other way.
Peter Hartzbech is the co-founder and CEO of iMotions, which has revolutionized neuromarketing. iMotions is a research platform that combines multiple biometric measuring systems, such as eye tracking and facial expressions, to show researchers real-time results. How does all this work?
Well, eye tracking, it's basically a couple of infrared cannons that shoot out a beam of light into your eye. And then there's something called a corneal reflection, so that this light reflects inside your eye, and then we can make a mathematical triangulation that basically can determine exactly where you look. So you have a high-speed camera that observes the face and where the face is and where the eye is, and then you have these cannons that make sure that you can instantly find out exactly where you're looking. What we do more than eye tracking is that we add a lot of biometric sensors. So we can look at the face expressions on top of that, so we know exactly what face expression there is when people they look at a certain kind of stimuli, as we call it. So it can be images, games, websites, software interfaces. On top of that, we can measure the intensity of the motion through galvanic skin response or heart rate. We all know that if we go into a stage, we can get nervous, right? So the heart rate goes up, we sweat in the fingers. Those are the things that we can measure. And that's not something you can look at people and see if they had that kind of reaction, right? Then we can even go in and measure on what you call EEG. So that's basically brainwaves. So we can deeper into the brain on what's happening both in the prefrontal cortex. That sounds a little bit technical, but that's the cost-benefit center in the brain where we rationally think, okay, do I like this? Do I not like it? Whereas, the emotional centers is more like the instant reaction of excitement, or if you are, afraid of something, for example. The iMotion software platform is the only platform in the world that can synchronize across different sensors. So if you go out today, you can either buy an eye tracker, you can buy an EEG headset, you can buy a galvanic skin response, facial expression software, but none of it is connected. So we are the only platform in the world that have found a way to synchronize these very complex signals and live visualize them. So basically, while you are watching the website, we can on a screen right beside you actually see exactly where you're looking, when are you smiling, when do you have a peak in your galvanic skin response, when do you spin the fingers, all these different kind of reactions.
This technology is used for more than just researching how customers feel about products. It is also used for the development of future products. As the technology advances, it will be built into devices we use every day.
Then we work with a lot of car corporations building the future car for basically the autonomous car that is going to drive by itself. But to jump all the way over to that is going to take some time. That's why you need these sensors in the cars to measure, are your eyes open, are they closed, are you having a very high heart rate, that's a stress indicator. So all of these things we look at inside the cars, for example.
It appears that the marriage between neuroscience and marketing research is here to stay. In consumer applications, research, and marketing, the possibilities are endless.
So what is happening now is that the hardware is getting cheaper, smaller, and easier to use, and that's happening across all the different modalities in the research space. So you can also take this research into the field. So basically it's going to be much more flexible, and you can bring it out where it's really needed instead of only being in a lab environment as it is today. So that's really what's going to happen in the future.